Hi there. Welcome. Come on in and get yourself nice and comfortable. And how are you today? Okay. Well, as you know, this day was always going to come, but as a reminder, this is part of the worldwide post-event effort at identifying those who were replaced immediately post-event. What we're doing is going around literally everybody on Earth and screening for those replacements. If you're not a replacement, there's nothing to worry about. To be honest though, some of the replacements have become so integrated, it comes as a surprise to even them when we find them. But find them we do, and find them we always will. However, if you were never replaced, nothing to worry about. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to start with just a few baseline questions. Then we're going to look at your emotional reactions to a few scenarios that I'm going to put to you. Going to do a little gesture recognition, a little audio test. And we're going to look at some pictures. And finally, a little word association. Nothing complicated at all, unless you haven't always been here. Are you ready to begin? Fantastic. Firstly, just to make this a little easier on you, perhaps, are you a replacement? Okay. Do you remember not being here and then suddenly being here? Okay. If you were a replacement, would you tell me? Tell me a fact about yourself. Can be absolutely anything. Thank you. Tell me a fact about your best friend. What's your favourite way to keep calm? When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you notice? Thank you. That's some good baseline answers. So what I'll do is I'll help you through this test as best we can, then hopefully have you on your way as soon as possible. I'm sure everything is going to be fine. We're going to look now at a few scenarios that I'm going to read out to you. And all you need to do is tell me how it makes you feel. For example, if I say, your best friend tells you a joke. Might make you feel happy, amused, anything like that. Whatever feeling comes over you, let me know what that is. Is that all right? Okay. So the first one is this. You wake up late, but it's your day off. You look at the clock. How does that make you feel? Next, someone surprises you with your favourite thing. How does that make you feel? Next, it starts to rain just as you get indoors. You find a key in your shoe. Oh, okay. A friend says that you had dinner last night, but you didn't. The birds outside your window all fall to the ground. How do you feel? Your shadow stays put when you move. How does that make you feel? And finally, you hear laughter from inside your wardrobe. How does that make you feel? Okay. Still feeling okay? Let me know if you need to take a break. This isn't designed to be too uncomfortable. So putting my clipboard down, because what we're going to do next is some gesture recognition. I'm going to make some gestures with my hands. I just need you to tell me what it means. Once again, if you're not a replacement, this will be very, very easy. Okay? Here's the first one. Ready? Again. What was that? Next one. Ready? What was that gesture? Next. Again. That one. Okay. Next. Again. How about that one? Okay. Next. Hold still for me, because this is going to involve touching your face. Is that okay? It will be brief, I promise. Ready? Again. What was that one? Okay. Finally. Again. Perhaps the most important gesture of all. Knocked my clipboard there. What did that one mean? Well done. Good. Next, there are some things I'd like you to listen to, and I'm going to keep it very simple. We're going to listen to a selection of lullabies and nursery rhymes. Does that sound okay? If they're ones you're not familiar with, just let me know, and that's absolutely fine. I understand that not everybody knows nursery rhymes and lullabies. They're not universal, but give it your best shot. So, here's the first one. You're going to hear two different versions, and I need to know which one is correct. Is that okay? Okay, here we go. Listen carefully. So which one of those two was correct? Thank you. Same thing again, but this time I'd like you to tell me if what you're hearing is correct or incorrect. Ready? Have a listen. Correct or incorrect? Thank you. Next, to read you out some words. There's some nursery rhymes. You have to tell me if they're the correct words or if they're incorrect. If you're not sure, try and pick it up from the context. So the first one is this. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Correct or incorrect? Row, row, row your boat somewhere it can't go. Gently down the quiet dark where all the lost things grow. Correct or incorrect? Thank you. Next, hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1. The mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock. Correct or incorrect? One more, and perhaps one of the simpler rounds will be over. So, twinkle, twinkle, little star, you weren't there, and now you are. Floating quiet through the black. When you turn, you won't turn back. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, you weren't there, and now you are. Correct or incorrect? Well done. Hark back to your childhood. Wonderful times. That's the first section of the test all done. More than halfway there. Let's get on to this second part, then you can be on your way. Visual recognition next, and I'm going to show you a few objects, pictures of objects, and I'd like you to tell me how they are used. But not now, before the event. How these things were used pre-event, prior to people being replaced. Imagine you're explaining it to someone who wasn't there. Okay? Wonderful. My clipboard down again. So, let me give you an example. Take a look at this for me. Tell me what it is. Specifically, I'm looking at these. What are they? So they are toothbrushes, quite right. But before the event, they were used for dental hygiene. They were used to brush our teeth. That's where the word comes from. Very, very different to how they're used now. See? Nice and simple. If you're not a replacement, this will be no problem at all. So let's carry on. Ready? Yeah, good. This time, it's this I'm looking at. Name that for me. Good. And tell me what we used to do with that before the event. Fun on this, everyday item this. Tell me, what is this? One of the world's favourite objects. We all love an umbrella, don't we? But it had a very specific function before the event. Do you remember what it was? Three more. This one's next. Tell me what this is. Now this has a very, very specific job now. It had less of a specific job before the event. What was it? Two more. Tell me what these are. Prior to the event, what were these used for? Last one. Ready? Okay, here we go. Now, there aren't any photographs, I don't think, of books without chains right now, and you absolutely know why. It would have been ideal to have shown you books without chains, but that would have been extraordinary. I might have given you a little hint then. But you don't need a hint, because you have been here all along. What were these used for before the event? Okay. Almost there. Tell me again about those. A few quick choices before the final round. Almost there. So, choose one. Tide, throat, or apology. Which is heavier? Mercy, glass, or between? Just your gut feel on these. Would you rather remember before or remember beside? Which belongs to you? This now, then here, or wasn't? This now, then here, or wasn't? Which would you like to follow? The line, the curve, or the square? Right. Well done. Nearly there. Last section. Choose one of the following three words. Under, before, instead. Glow, listen, twice. Pause, hunger, return. Begin, down, reply. There it is. That's the one. You know, I don't think you knew, did you? You've been here so long. It all feels so natural to you right now. And you've done a great job. We didn't think you were a replacement at first. But now, the game is over. You will be detained until you tell us where the person you replaced is. And I promise you, none of this will be pleasant. Gotcha. Take them away. Right, let's get this all back and start again.